Hello, and welcome to my channel. I'm Mandi Grace, author of 10 young adult novels so far. My camera battery is actually dying, so I don't know how long this is going to last. Welcome to the next writing vlog. I don't really have a name for this situation. Okay, it died, and we switched batteries, and we're happy. Anyway, I am rewriting Messiah, and I am starting a book coaching business, and I don't know, that's basically it. Reading books, I guess, was the other option. So, there's a lot going on, but I don't know what to call the writing vlogs. So anyway, it's the next week. Actually, it's already Thursday because I haven't been videoing, but I have been, excuse me while I move my dinner plate. I have been, oh, and the breakfast plate. Oh, hold on. Someone needs to clean their desk off. I wanted the bullet journal. I've been writing is what I've been trying to say, but I can't get the words to come out of my mouth. I wrote at least one day this week, and then I didn't actually see how many words it was, so it doesn't even have a sticker. Let's look together, shall we? We've made it 25,000 words into the story. Everybody panic. And we haven't actually hit what is essentially the inciting incident, which is when Messiah's not chosen as the heir. I don't know if that means that's not my inciting incident, or if that means I have way too much story building up to that moment, or if it's like, you know what, it's an epic fantasy, and it took, you know, a long time for Frodo to get out of the Shire and actually go to Mordor, so, like, it's fine. Probably. That's what I've been telling myself in doing these, rewrites, and realizing as I'm doing the rewrites that, the inciting incident was like chapter 3 in the original version, which at the time I thought was like, wow, it took me so long to get here. And now I'm on chapter 7 and we're not even there yet. So in the rewrites, the inciting incident just keeps getting pushed further and further and further away. And while that's been happening, I keep being like, it's fine. Tolkien did it. It's fine. I don't know if it's actually fine, but we'll see. Sorry, I'm trying to do math and talk at the same time. Ignore the cat. 4,051 words. Okay, you sit right there. That's a terrible angle. It's probably just my boobs. It's fine. So this was technically my first week back at work, except there were 14 million snow days because the weather has been crazy. So I actually had a lot of time off. So hence the decent amount of writing time. Kitten! What do you need? So far this week, we're here. So far this week, I've only written once. But it was a big day. It was a big, exciting day. Also on Monday of this week, I met with my BFF critique partner person. Hannah, I adore you. Anyway, hi kitten. The point is, I was doing story-related things on Monday because we were talking about my story and her story. And then on Tuesday I wrote, and I sent her, you know, more work. So, the beginning of this week I was, like, in the story world, and since then I've thought about the story, like, when I'm driving around town, taking kids to school and whatnot. I've been thinking about the story a lot. The things that have been percolating in my brain. One is adding more characters to my excessive cast of characters. I have a lot of people. We're 7 chapters in, and I feel like the only people we've gotten to know are the ladies. And there's 3 ladies and Messiah, and then the best friend Karis. So there's 5 of them. There's 5 characters that we've been spending a lot of time with, plus the brother. So 6. But we've had several scenes with Camden, which is 7, and then we did meet all the other lads. And there are Camden, Art, Gower, Altair, Lance, Tip. there's 6 of them total, which would be 4 more than what I, because we talked about Camden and Art, but there are 4 more of them, which we've had a scene with, but we haven't really spent time with. That's the part that's been crazy to me, is like, we're 7 chapters in and we don't know the lads. Like, the lads are a huge part of this series. Massive. Especially Lance. We haven't spent any time with Lance. Lance is not by blood, but in the sense that he was raised by her father. Lance is Messiah's brother in as much as Art is, and they're really close, actually. And we're 7 chapters in and we haven't even, like, had a single conversation with him. But the problem is, if I add more in, right, like if we have a conversation with Lance, that just pushes the inciting incident even further away. So, I don't know what the solution is, but the point is, I have a lot. My main group of characters is, there's 6 guys, and then there's like 5-ish women, if you count Karis. She kind of faded out of the story in the first draft, but I'm trying to keep her in the rewrites. Anyway, there's like 11 main-ish people group. And then there's like all of the council, which is like 5 other people, which is the king, and this guy named Lord Fennel, who's from this other kingdom, who's kind of a pain. And there's the treasurer, and there's the master-at-arms, and things. Anyway, but what I've been thinking about while I've been driving around, after all of that rambling about characters, is adding more people. Specifically, listen, Messiah's about to start a coup, and it's going to be like a whole situation. But I was thinking about it, and in the first draft, the only military person that we actually talked to is the Master-at-Arms, who trained Messiah and her brother. And, he's in charge of the entire military, and he supports Messiah, so, if she pushed it, she could have a successful civil war. Anyway, the point is, I was thinking about it while I was driving, and I was, like, processing the fact that her ladies, they are the royal guard, they're, knights of the kingdom, and their job is to protect her, but they're barely older than she is. Do not knock down the trash can. Kitten! There it goes. There it goes. Currently it's on her back. Oh, there. Yep. So anyway, I'm gonna have to go clean that up. Yes, the Callan is the only person in the military that we talk to, but Messiah would have had someone she would have had a royal guard attached to her prior to her ladies, because they're young. They would not have always been, her person. And then I was thinking about it, and I was like, that person is probably supportive of her, and should probably play some kind of role, even if it's just like a named tertiary character, Like, they should be around. But people like that, I've been thinking about a lot while I'm driving, of like, filling in the castle with all of these people that Messiah would have interacted with and would know by name and would probably either support or be, like, adamantly against what she's doing when she starts her coup. So, yeah, I've had a bunch of, just, like, people ideas. Not for main characters, but for, like, side characters to fill out the world kind of ideas. Yeah, and I've been processing the Messiah and Lance relationship, and I keep having movie scenes of the two of them having various conversations, none of which I've written, and none of which might even make it into the story at all, but I've been thinking about Messiah and Lance a lot. I don't like that I'm 7 chapters in and we haven't really been introduced to Lance, and he's literally, like, my personal main character of the entire series. I know it's Messiah's series, but, like, for me, it's Lance's series. So, I feel kind of sad about that. But that might be a me problem, I don't know, except he is the main character of book 2, and, like, I need to have enough of him that readers will care that he's the main character of book 2, I don't know. Anyway, we've made it to the unicorn hunt, which in the original writing of this story, I didn't even know that was going to happen. The unicorn just sort of showed up, and I was like, okay, whatever. And I rolled with it. But I'm trying to be more intentional. I do actually really like the unicorn scene that I wrote way back when. because she sort of speaks these like foreshadowing riddles to them individually. Like, she doesn't talk to all of them together. She individually gives them these like foreboding what am I trying to say? Not sinister. I mean, maybe it's sinister. Anyway, let me just find the things that she says, and then I don't have to try to explain it to you. Okay, so this needs to be rewritten because it's like, you know, first draft 4 years ago, and my writing has probably changed at least a little bit since 4 years ago. That would have been like 7 books ago, and, you know, potentially I was getting better with each of those 7 books, and then also it was like 4 years of reading writing craft books and being in the Quilling Cup situation for almost 3 years now, and having like weekly webinars and like things. Like, there's been a lot of creative writing research and development happening over here. So anyway, that's my disclaimer. But what she says in the original, which isn't very poetic, but it will be. So she tells Celestina that she must protect Messiah and not guide her to harm, as a warning, because, you know, things. And then she tells Carius, your grace will be tested, but stand firm. And then she doesn't say anything to Jin in the original situation because, spoilers! I don't know if she will say something to Jin this time or not. I haven't written it. But why am I ranting about this? I don't even know, guys. I'm so tired. It's like only 7 p.m. But my brain is all over the place. And I thought that I would film because I was feeling energetic. But I think I'm not really energetic. I think I'm just like tired and rambling is what it is. I don't really have anything to say. I've been thinking about this story. I've made it to the unicorn hunt. I don't know what to do about the fact that the inciting incident isn't happening for at least 8 chapters into the story. And I don't know how I feel about the fact that Lance is barely even a character yet. That's what I've got. I might try and write this evening. For sure I'll write tomorrow. Saturday might be crazy because I'm doing something with my nieces and nephew. I don't know. But I felt like I needed to film because I hadn't filmed yet, even though like on Monday I was doing writing related things with my critique partner, and then on Tuesday I did write, but I never filmed anything, and now it's Thursday, so I felt like if I didn't film I wasn't going to film, and now you just got me rambling for however long this was. 15 minutes. You're welcome. I might have trimmed that down for you. I can't promise that I will, but I might have when I got to the editing portion. If I didn't, I'm sorry. I need to go pick up the trash. Hello, welcome to Friday. I don't know that I'm gonna write right now, this evening. But my BFF and I were in each other's documents today. So I read her section that she'd submitted and like was commenting on it, and it was blast, whatever. And then she was commenting on mine, which was really helpful, and it's got my, you know, head spinning with story ideas again. So I might dive into it. We'll see. Ay! Kitten. Yeah, I don't know. We'll see. But I'm trying to be more consistent videoing so that the only time I video isn't yesterday when I was just like rambling, you know? Trying to add a little more to this vlog. So we're gonna ramble on a different day. No, we're not. But I was in my story today is what I was, that's the whole update. Hi, kitten. What are you doing? Why are you doing it? Who knows? Yeah. The next thing I'm writing is the unicorn hunt, which I'm excited about. Yesterday when I was writing, which like the total of the scene that I was writing was like 800 words, but because it was like I pulled a scene from the other document. Wild thought. We've only done that like one other time. Maybe twice. Well, we pulled the meadow scene. That's almost the same as from the original document. And then we pulled the, what is that word? Council. We pulled the council meeting, but then changed everything that happens in the council meeting and only kept the descriptions of the council members. So that didn't really count, to be honest. It wasn't pulling a scene. Anyway, but we pulled a scene yesterday. But I didn't get to the actual unicorn hunt, because in the original book, there's a scene in the middle of the night where there's a storm, and the scene is almost entirely pointless in the original book. It was just me asking through my character Joan what unicorns are like, and then me telling myself through my character Messiah what kind of magic unicorns potentially have. Like, it was a very, like, very much, it was just me, like, brainstorming in a scene, because, you know, it was the first draft and that's what I do. But anyway, I did keep the scene and I was writing it last night. I didn't finish writing it, and I don't know that I'll keep it at all, but I was writing it last night to get into, you know, the situation. I like the storm. I also like, I added, this is not in the original. In the original, Messiah wakes up to the hail, and then Joan gets in bed with her, and they talk about unicorns, and then they go to sleep. And that's like the entire thing. And they don't talk a lot about unicorns because Messiah doesn't know about unicorns, but they sort of just randomly discuss a couple of things. It's mostly pointless, okay? But this time, I have Messiah waking up to the storm, but and then, you know, Joan climbs into bed and they talk about unicorns. But then I have this whole thing where they get out of the bed and deal with, also probably pointless, but like the shutters fly open and then there's hail coming in the room and it's like a whole situation. But what we're learning in that scene, aside from just the unicorn information, which I did try to spruce up a little bit this time around, and make it seem less like I was trying to figure out what on earth was going on when I wrote it. Aside from the unicorn information, I also am highlighting that Joan's a badass, because up to this point, all you have seen from Joan is that she's adorable, and she's the sweetest of the little friend group, and she's like, you know the, like, manic pixie situation in stories, okay? She's kind of like that, except she's not, but she presents that way. So she's always, like, skipping around when they're going places, or, like, twirling, and, like, you know, life is just grand and made of lollipops and puppies and unicorns. Except she could also kill you. But we haven't seen that side of her yet. And so when the shutters flew open, I had her, like, jump out of the bed, because the girls were, like, in bed having a little sleepover, you know. I had her, like, immediately bolt out of the bed and get into a defensive position with a knife in her hand. And Messiah's just kind of like, where did the knife come from? What just happened? Turns out it was just the window, so she puts the knife away. But, you know, I wanted to make it clear that she is a royal guard for a reason. She is perfectly capable of protecting Messiah. And also, while I was on this train of, like, I want to highlight Joan's skills, apart from just her adorableness, I have this idea, which I haven't written yet, but I have this idea for a scene, because I'm building up the tension, and I did in the first book too, in the first draft of this book. I am building up the tension between the magic users and the non-magic users, and, like, some people fear magic, some people support magic, there's all this thing. But there's also a group of people, which currently is called the Whip. It might be called something else. I don't know. I called it like 12 different things in the original, and then I just never picked one. Or if I did, I forgot. Anyway, but there's this group of people who hate magic so much that they're actively trying to suppress it. And they're the people who cause riots in the villages outside the capital, far enough away from the king that, like, maybe there won't be repercussions. Yeah, they cause riots in villages and, like, burn homes of magic users and, like, all this stuff, which sends a lot of magic people fleeing to the forest, because there's this rumor that there's a safe haven somewhere in the forest. And nobody knows if it's true or not, because nobody ever comes back, which could mean they all die in the forest, or could mean they find the safe haven and they're living happily. Who knows? Obviously, I know, and obviously you know if you watch the vlogs of me writing book 3, because spoilers. Anyway, so it's not really spoilers, it's already on the internet. anyway, the point that I was making is that there's this group of people, right? And they also possibly, although Messiah can't confirm this, murdered her mother. So, yes, the hatred of magic is like a big bad deal, right? And there's this group of people. So, I kind of want, in this tension of like who's going to be heir, some people want the magical princess, some people really don't want the magical princess. I want there to be an assassination attempt, and I want Joan to be the guard who's on duty that day and to like really show her stuff. Because it will be relevant for Messiah's story that the tension is like coming to this boiling point and people are trying to kill her even though her father has not made a decision yet. And then also I really want to highlight that Joan is more than just the skipping around, you know, twirling her hair, throwing petals in the air, sort of like, you know, she's adorable and she's sweet and like that is who she is, but she can also kill you. Anyway, also, she comes from the king. She's not native to Messiah's kingdom, Asgar. She's from this other kingdom called Jothad. That she's, they are really fierce warriors, way more than any of the other kingdoms, because they've been in a centuries-long war with the giants and the Nothians, and it's like been a whole situation. So they are trained in combat from the time they can walk, basically. So she grew up in a more like this is Sparta kind of vibe, you know? And now she lives in Asgard, and like her more soft feminine nature like comes out a lot, because she is a very sweet girl. But yeah, I don't want readers to get the wrong impression of Joan. So I've been thinking about this assassination attempt, and I really like the idea of it, but I haven't written it. Ignore my cat, she's just loud. So, possibly going to write that tonight. Unclear. No, not the assassination attempt. No, I was going to write, we're on the unicorn hunt. We'll get to the assassination, yes, that'll happen at some point. I can't do both in one night. That would be a lot of words. I don't see that happening. Hi, Saturday's update. I spent most of my day with my nieces and nephew. But this morning I had an email from a potential client. Get excited, folks. We might actually be a real book coach. And so I spent a little bit of time this morning before hanging out with my nieces and nephew all day, and then more time this evening researching contracts so that when I actually have clients, we'll have a contract that we can, after the vet me call. So like the first step is the vet me call, and then we talk to each other on Zoom and, you know, mutually decide that we do or do not want to work together in this book coaching relationship. And then after the vet me call, if you do want to work with me, I will send you a contract to sign, which is essentially like, here's the services I'm providing, you're promising that you will pay for it. Huzzah! Anyway, it doesn't say that exactly. There's no huzzahs, but you get the idea. So anyway, I was doing that because I take notes, like by hand notes. I went through. I mean, I've located 2 more notes in this book. So in case you missed other videos relating to the whole book coaching topic, if you're new here, last summer of 23, I was on a writing retreat with my writing community, Quill and Cup. We love them. They're amazing. On that retreat, they suggested, the ladies there, that I might, maybe, possibly, should try book coaching, and here we are. But while we were there, we had these journals, and one of the nights we were there, we wrote notes to each other in said journals, and so because the retreat is where the book coaching thing was born, I wanted to use this notebook for the book coaching business. So as I've like done research or whatever, I write in the book. The very first page is a note from my friend Chrisanne, who is in fact the writer in Quill and Cup, who first suggested the book coaching thing. So I love that she is page 1 before I even start my notes. It's just boom, there she is. and then you flip the page, and oh, it's me doing research. Anyway, so yes, anyway, there's several pages of me doing research on like what book coaching is, how much people charge for book coaching, what my brand should look like all kinds of things, right? There's lots of pages of that. And then, turn the page. Huzzah! This morning I started doing contract work and like taking notes on like what a contract should say, and then oh look, there's another note. But then look what a contract should say. Oh, there's another note. contracts, and here we are. Not that you needed to flip through my handwritten contract ideas, but you just did. You're welcome. Anyway, the point that I was getting at is that I've now read 2 more of the notes, and they made me very happy. And I don't know where the next one is, but we'll find it. And yeah, no, it gives me joy, it gives me life, finding those notes in the midst of building this business. So like one of them, I'm not going to read the whole thing to you, it's kind of a, personal thing, but, one of them said, part of it says, "You are a well of integrity and hope and light. So much light. When I think of you, I see a path that you set out for those around you so that they can walk and discover and learn and grow. It's green, the path, with tiny flowers that dot the edges, and you hold space for whoever is walking the trail." I love that so much. That's the picture I want, like I have in my head with this book coaching endeavor. Yeah, I don't know if I've said that, maybe I already said this on camera, but my roommate, when I was telling her about how I want the book coaching relationship to be, and what I hope to offer and give to my clients, she responded with, "You should really call yourself a book therapist," which I just love, because I want to take care of the writer as a whole, so obviously I'm going to offer like developmental edits and talk to you about your story and where you can strengthen it. Like that is part of the process. But I also want to talk about you and make sure that you are in a good mindset and you're not burning out, or like when you are in a season of survival, that you know how to give yourself grace in that and like be okay with slowing down and resting so that you can fill up your creative well and start writing again. It's like a whole thing, right? So I want to coach all of you and not just your words on paper specifically. Anyway, so that just the idea of walking on the path with you, which it's just beautiful, and I love it, and yeah. Anyway, I'm rambling. This is a very rambly video that you're getting this time, because I just have been rambling, like, the whole time, every time I turn on the camera. Sorry. But that's where we're at with the book coaching. I have a potential client. We might be a real, actual book coach now. And I don't know what I was before. And yeah, I went down the legal rabbit hole this evening. But I think I potentially have a contract. At least for now. It might, shift and change. Apologies to my first few clients, because this is going to be a bit of trial and error. And I will be, upfront and honest about that, as I start to move forward with people, with writers. It might be a bit of a learning curve as we kick off, but I'm excited.